To help us talk more about the issues facing Boeing, I'm now joined by Scott Hamilton. He's the Managing Director of Leeham Company. Thanks so much for coming on, sir. I want to start by asking you, Ortberg came in over the summer as a CEO and has been tasked with this massive mandate to help turn around Boeing, which has taken hit after hit. How good a job do you think he's done so far, if you had to grade him?
Well, frankly, I'd say it's incomplete. He's only been CEO for about eight months now. That's not enough time to really have a serious, measurable track record, but he's taken steps in the right direction.
What progress has been made to date?
Well, one of the first things that he had to face when he came in was 34 days later, the largest Boeing union, the IAM 751, went out on strike after rejecting the contract. Now, the strike went on for 53 days. And frankly, that was the first fire he had to deal with, and it took him a better part of 2 months to get the job done and get a contract.
Yeah, he's definitely had to hit the ground running. What are some of the key issues he outlined during the Senate hearing on how the company will ensure it doesn't repeat past accidents or manufacturing flaws?
Well, Boeing has had to take just a plethora of steps to reassure the Federal Aviation Administration, number one, that it's got its safety concerns under control, it's got its quality assurance on the production lines under control, and that the employee culture, which has taken 2 decades to get to where it is, almost 3 decades to get to where it is now on a path to recovery, and that the employees will be confident that they can bring problems to management without being retaliated against.
And Scott, help remind viewers what oversight is in place at Boeing as it relates to manufacturing, maintenance, and then software updates as well.
Yeah, the Federal Aviation Administration, under the previous administration, President Biden, after that Alaska Airlines accident that happened in January of 24, the FAA has been increasing its scrutiny of Boeing. Of course, they began that extra scrutiny after the March 10, 2019 accident that was the second crash that really is part of this hearing today, in which Ortberg referenced in his opening statement.
Yeah, and just how important was a recent contract award of up to $20 million to build the next generation of U.S. fighter jets for Boeing, financially and for its reputation?
Well, it's very interesting. The Boeing company itself has never built a fighter in recent history. In fact, I'm not sure they've ever built a fighter at all. The fighters that they have been delivering to the Air Force were developed by McDonnell Douglas, which Boeing acquired in 1997. So this was a very significant award to Boeing. It's a very important award to Boeing. It's a display of confidence in Boeing. But on the other hand, you've still got the FAA putting its thumb on Boeing commercial airplanes. So the Trump administration is a little, I'd say, bifurcated toward Boeing at the moment.
That's an interesting way to put it, because then how surprising is it, despite Boeing's poor safety record and showing, a competitor like Lockheed Martin wasn't in the running? Why do you think that is?
I think part of it is because Boeing is still in actually pretty poor financial condition after crisis after crisis after crisis since those 2018 and 19 737 MAX accidents. The Boeing defense side has failed to perform adequately for several defense contracts, but there's also a need here for Boeing to survive. It's, I believe, the third largest defense contractor, and you can't really have any more concentration of fighters within Northrop Grumman or Lockheed Martin, so here you have Boeing.
How devastating would another misstep or accident be for Boeing at this point? Because Senator Ted Cruz said at the hearing on Wednesday that it should be in all of our interests to see the manufacturer succeed. Is it a story of Boeing is just too big, too important to the U.S. to fail? After all, what's the alternative?
Well, it is too big and too important to fail. On defense, you've got Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, but on the commercial side, you have Airbus, which of course is a European company. To answer your first question here, would an accident be devastating to Boeing? Well, to use the cliche, it depends. It does depend. It depends on whether the accident was simply pilot error. It depends on whether the accident It goes back to Boeing's safety. It just all depends.